welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Nicole Petalides, live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. It's time to spotlight a special guest and a special company, and that is Tilray Brands, cannabis, beverages, right? They recently announced an acquisition of craft brands and breweries from Molson Coors, leading to its place as the 5th largest U.S. craft brewer. So when we think of Tilray, it's not just cannabis anymore, it's also beer and more. So let's have a great conversation now with Irwin D. Simon, Chairman, CEO at Tilray Brands. Thanks for being with us. Very interesting to hear about the evolution of Tilray and what you're doing here. Did this come because you got tired of waiting for more and more legalization of cannabis in the States? I mean, what brought this on?
So, Nicole, good morning. How are you? Thank you for having me on. Listen, when I took this company over in 2019, Tilray was about a $50 million cannabis business. And, cannabis from a recreational standpoint is only legal. The only country is Canada. There's another 19 countries where medical cannabis is. In the U.S., it's not legal from a federal standpoint. So my focus originally was, how do you get Canada right? Canada, is a country of about 40 million people. And with that, how big could cannabis be in Canada? And, today Tilray is #1 in recreational cannabis in Canada and is a big player in medical cannabis and a big player within the drinks and flower business. So how do we grow and become a global company? Well, we being a NASDAQ traded company, we can't do anything in cannabis in the U.S. So what are the adjacencies and how do you diversify yourself? And in 2020, we bought Sweetwater Brewery because it had the brand 420. That was our first entry into the beer business. So just think, back in 2020, we bought Sweetwater. Along comes COVID, all on premise closed down, but still, we focused on the beer business, growing the beer business. And, then we went on to buy Breckenridge, we went on to buy Montauk and many others. So today, we sell close to 15 million cases of beer a year. We're the 5th largest craft brewer within the U.S. And thank God, because this year when we announced our guidance, between $950 to $1 billion in size, with our being a diversification company for us, our spirits, our beer business, and our Manitoba Harvest business is a big part of our growth strategy. And, with the government not legalizing cannabis in the U.S., we would have been stuck. And thank God we did what we did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't say that any better, and you don't have to toot your own horn. I agree with you. I mean, especially during 2020, there wouldn't have been any federal work being done on legalization of cannabis. I mean, everybody was sort of holed in. Nothing was happening, so it was a good thing you started in on the beers. What's interesting is you talk about 15 million cases and 30% growth in these accounts. It makes me wonder, and I love your vision about how you really want to be more and more global. Does this become ultimately a brewery company? You're not going to forget your cannabis roots, are you?
Listen, I come back and say this here. On the other hand, what we hear about today is cannabis cannibalizing the spirits in the beer industry. So with that, hopefully, whoever the next president and vice president of the United States is, and there's, talk coming out of the Trump camp, there's talk coming out of the Harris camp of what legalization could look like. Absolutely not. Cannabis, I think there's a tremendous market. You come back and look at the Canadian market today, which is about a $5 billion market at retail. They say it's going to go to a $10 billion market at retail. So if you come back and look at the U.S. on legalization, that ever happened, there's a $100 billion opportunity there. So that is not an opportunity I'm running away from so quickly. On the other hand, I think the opportunity in the beer business is tremendous, okay? The craft beer business, there's change needed. And with that, how do you make beer fun, cool again? And there's a big beer market out there, and there's a big beverage market. So Tilray is going to play in the beverage market. We're going to play in the spirits market. And in Europe, we're going to play within the medical cannabis business.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, we've had that move for reclassification of cannabis from a category 1 to a 3, right? The 1 would be more for like heroin, and 3 less dangerous level, but that still hasn't been, while it's been proposed and moving forward, it hasn't been done yet, right?
And crazy, Nicole, because everybody is recommending it. It was supposed to happen. Now the football's been kicked down the field till December 2nd or 3rd for more hearings, and that's why. Again, what our politicians are missing out here is all these tax dollars that are not being collected. There's so much confusion out there. Cannabis is legal in 27 states recreational, 35 states in regards to medical. It's on the ballot in Florida this year. Americans want cannabis legalized. So ultimately, we got to do something about it.
We actually saw some of the ETFs around cannabis jump yesterday when there was talk about President Trump former president candidate Trump talking about cannabis, and that would go to the states themselves and the legalization, let's say, and those stocks jumped yesterday. Do you like that? Do you like that the states will be able to decide? Why did the stocks jump in your opinion?
So I think the stocks jump because of hope, but every time we talk about it and there's hope, stocks jump, and when something doesn't happen, stocks decline. It's interesting. When originally I'm in the beer business, I thought, hey, I'm going to lose my cannabis multiple. But right now, even though only a third of our sales come from cannabis, we still get a cannabis multiple. But I think, again, it's just a disappointment. The other big thing out there, Nicole, is this here. There's a lot of hedge funds and institutions that will not invest, in our companies because they're just not able to because of cannabis, because of legal and safe bank. So that has to change dramatically. If you come back and look at Tilray today, and I love our retail shareholders, and they're great shareholders to have. Probably about 80% of our shareholders today are retail shareholders.
It's evident that you have growth in your beer industry here, as you noted. Are you seeing growth in the cannabis industry? I mean, how do you quantify? Is it slower growth? Is it?
Listen, we're absolutely seeing growth in Canada. What happened in Canada is a couple of things. Number one, when it legalized in 2018, I think the Canadian government, really didn't put the right procedures in place, processes in place. They handed over 2,000 licenses, and ultimately, each one cannibalized the other one. The second is we had horrendous price compression there, which Tilray itself, we lost about $200 million in price, but it ultimately just drops our bottom line. The worst is the Canadian government put in place that you pay $1 per gram, not based on a percentage, not based on a price. So today, Tilray pays about $150 million Canadian in excise tax. So listen, the Canadian government today is the richest cannabis company out there today because they probably get $700-800 million coming in taxes from cannabis. So with that, ultimately, it's the only country in the world that's legal, but there's a lot of change got to happen in Canada. But we are growing in Canada. That's the good news.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the takeaway. What was interesting from the early 2000s to COVID and beyond, I think it was in 2022, that spirits really picked up, right? I'm talking about not beer, right? And that that tequila and whiskey and all of that has really picked up so much so I think there was even one stat that it was equal to or more than beer. But beer has been steady. It has been a winner over time. Do you feel that you need to have a footprint in spirits as well? Will you be looking to that? Because that has been an area of growth. I mean, sort of the fun concoctions are back. Young people are back to making fun drinks. It's sort of a thing.
So we do have, a position there with our Breckenridge distillery. We have our bourbon business. We have a vodka and a gin business. And, we bought that about 2.5 years ago. Nice business for us. And, we look to grow that to about $100 million in sales. But what's happening with spirits today, I think, as people are on a lot of these weight loss drugs, and spirits is an area where they give up. And what we're trying to do is regards to beer, from a price point, spirits have become very, very expensive. Beer is a much cheaper product to drink today. And I think, again, what millennials and Gen Z are looking to do is drink beers that their parents didn't drink. So we're looking at big time from an innovation standpoint. We've launched a lot in the non-alc area, a lot in the light area. We launched a product called gummies and our 420 products that don't have any THC in it. And we're about to launch hemp-infused products. So innovation is key here. And what Tilray has is 500 beer distributors out there that can drive products to the shelf. Now, through social media, we got to drive consumption. So that's a big thing for us. The other thing is taking our bourbon business, which everybody loves bourbon today, taking our vodka and our gin business, and how do we grow that? Listen, we also have big opportunities internationally. Today we have a good-sized medical business that we sell in probably 18, 19 countries internationally. We have a distribution business that sells medicines based in Germany. So Tilray today is a global, company that sells in over 20 countries and, has over 25 brands that it sells around the world.
Sounds like it's only the beginning of a lot more to come.
We're different than any other company. Not many companies out there today sell beer, cannabis, and spirits and some food. So we're different, we're fun, you're unique, and we got some great brands. So watch out.
All right, we'll watch out and come back soon with any updates. Irwin D, Chairman and CEO, Tilray Brands. Thank you so much.